politician who demands action and gets results.
Tuesday's event featured President Trump attending a naturalization ceremony for a group of new citizens. We're going to hear more in just a few hours about that shooting of a Grafton, North Dakota police officer earlier this month. U.S. Attorney Drew Wrigley is holding a news conference at 10 this morning to announce new developments in the federal investigation.
Officer Lucas Campaverde was shot August 14th as officers tried to arrest a man for an outstanding federal warrant. He's since been released from the hospital. Wrigley will be joined at today's news conference by the Grafton Police Chief, the Walsh County Sheriff and State's Attorney, and the U.S. Marshal Service. We're getting a look this morning at the man who police say barricaded himself inside his vehicle near Fargo South High School for several hours yesterday. Police say 24-year-old Michael Manuel Bell of Fargo had been involved in a disturbance several blocks away. He's now accused of aggravated domestic assault, felonious restraint, terrorizing, and preventing arrest.
Officers were called to a disturbance around 6 yesterday morning in the 2000 block of 25th Street South and say they ended up finding the suspect in a car near South High School. After more than 3 hours of negotiations, police used pepper balls and pepper spray to get Bell out of the car. The neighborhood around the high school was blocked off, and the school, which was not in session, was put in lockdown because staff members were inside.
The man shot by police in Kenosha, Wisconsin, is paralyzed. Jacob Blake's father says his son has no feeling from the waist down.
He also says doctors are not sure yet if the paralysis is permanent. That shooting sparked clashes between police and protesters for the third night in a row.
10 minutes before 7 on your Wednesday morning, and it is a muggy start to our day. You'll feel that when you walk out the door, and some people seeing rain too, Lisa.
Yeah, lots of moisture in various forms, whether it's fog, mugginess, or that rain and thunder. And we'll see that continue into the day today. We do have a severe weather risk here. This morning, it's general thunderstorms, maybe some small hail. It's this afternoon where we're focused on that second round for that potential for severe weather, and into the evening as well. Southern Valley, more into central Minnesota, where you see the yellow on the map there, that's a slight risk. And so that's where we're looking at the greater threat for larger hail and high winds gusting to 60 miles per hour. Tornadoes unlikely, but severe weather, always need to watch out for that, and flooding always localized in some of these storms. So something to be aware of as you're planning your day today. And as you're stepping out the door this morning, watch out for that dense fog in Cooperstown. We're at 0 for our visibility there, and we've been seeing variations in lowering from the fog in our western viewing area. Eventually that will lift as we head through the morning. So that's one concern. And of course, the storms that have been ongoing. Here's a look at that. You can see this line that's been moving from west to east in the southern half of the valley. Eventually it'll clear, but right now places in Lakes Country down into southwestern North Dakota or southeastern North Dakota, we've got those storms rumbling through Wahpeton Breckenridge down toward the Hankinson area as well, and then back up through Wilkin County up toward Pelican Rapids and Detroit Lakes and north, and now moving into Park Rapids as this moves to the east. Again, can't rule out some small hail. There's some lightning and heavy rain. If you can, let these pass before you step out the door here this morning. So this line of storms moving east, but beyond that, behind that, we'll start to clear out and get a break. And then here comes that severe weather we're looking at for later today, or just some general thunderstorms. So we're going to zip on down to the Gulf because we need to talk about Hurricane Laura. It has really intensified overnight. You could see a well-defined eye wall now this morning as it churns over those warm waters in the Gulf of Mexico. And check this out. It's now a Category 3 storm, or looks like it's turning into going to be one here, as we'll get an update at the top of the hour at 7 o'clock, and eventually expected to become a Category 4 storm here today, making landfall late tonight with the threats for the Louisiana and Texas coastline. So we'll be watching that closely. A lot of students starting to head back to school this week. We're looking at bus stop weather that's looking pretty good this morning in some areas up north. Southern Valley, we've got to watch out for those thunderstorms, and it's muggy too. This afternoon, the kids will want to watch out for the rain and thunder as well. Temperatures will be in the 70s to some low 80s here today. So unsettled for your Wednesday. That carries over into your Thursday. We get a break Friday and into Saturday, but here comes the cold front on Sunday, bringing that cooler weather we've been talking about. Brace yourselves for that taste of fall coming up this week.
All right, thanks for the warning, Lisa. Minnesota is on pace to offer the country's first saliva COVID-19 test. The state is making plans to more than double its coronavirus testing capacity by partnering with a national distributor of that rapid saliva test and establishing a new lab to process the results.
The governor's office says the state is finalizing a $14 million deal with Rutgers University-based project. Vault Health will help carry out the testing. State officials hope to have the new lab in the St. Paul suburb of Oakdale in operation by October. The lab will add 30,000 daily tests to Minnesota's current testing capacity of 20,000 per day.
The number of active COVID-19 cases in Grand Forks County is spiking. 110 new cases were added yesterday. On average last week, the daily case for Grand Forks County was 35.
Grand Forks County now has the highest active case count in the state of North Dakota, with an active case count at 383 right now. The Grand Forks mayor says this jump in cases was expected as more college students and a younger crowd returned to the city. UND alone reported 51 cases yesterday.
We've got a group of young people who have already been the group that has been spreading the virus at a larger degree, and now you put them all together, and a lot of them are in their first week of college, first time away from home, and I think it's hard to expect all the right decisions to have been made by them.
Mayor Bachensky says it's important for everyone to follow best practices, and anyone who is sick needs to quarantine.
They are not considering taking more drastic measures right now, such as restricting area businesses, as cases for those most at risk, people over 60, are not seeing more hospitalizations.
Sanford Health is opening a new clinic in Grand Forks. Plans are for a 22,000 square foot facility in the south part of town with space for 15 primary care and specialty care providers.
It's set to open in the spring of 2021. Sanford is headquartered in Sioux Falls and has operated clinics in East Grand Forks for more than 2 decades.
We now know that Moorhead area public schools will return back to school in a hybrid model, but that means you will need a face mask when you're back at school for at least those 2 days a week.
The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod joins us live this morning with more on an organization that's collecting masks for students in need.
Well, good morning, Jordan and Lisa. And face masks are starting to become more of a requirement than it is a need, or more of a want, as I should say. And what they're doing behind here in this door right behind me is actually collecting these cloth face masks for those kids in use. And we'll go ahead and let you know how they plan on using them and what they need to do. Now, we'll bring your face mask over to the Propsfield Center of Education drop box. This is located at door 3 at 2410 4th Street. South here in Moorhead. These masks can be homemade or store-bought cloth masks. This is from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Another way to help is by providing monetary donations, and these funds can be distributed by heading over to moorheadlegacy.com/donate. Now, students in Moorhead are heading back into a hybrid model, which pretty much means that instead of having school 5 days a week, they're going to be physically in school for 2 days a week, which means these face masks are still going to be required. So all the face masks that you can bring right here in this door right behind me would be extremely helpful. And like we mentioned, they could be homemade ones, they can be ones that are donated, but they need to be cloth masks that they are accepting. So definitely come by and drop them off between 7:30 to 4. Also letting you know that if you just happen not to be able to make it today, this is Monday through Friday, so don't think that it's just today. You have multiple days and weeks that you can come by and drop off these face masks. So whenever you can drop them off, definitely come by. They will be open in less than 30 minutes since it is 6:57. So just be here right at 7:30. They're not going to let you go through these doors though, so you have to physically drop them off right before.
Brian reporting live for us this morning. I just want to note, I got a message from Sue Barron with the Golden Drive this morning, and she said the need is there, definitely. They've also been dispersing over 500 masks so far, and they're getting 5,000 more on Friday that they're going to be giving to schools and shelters as well. So great to see so many people stepping up and helping out, making sure all of our kids have masks.
Yes, our community coming together. Brian, thank you. Some Fargo parents say they have been left in the dark about the school district's plans for a virtual academy. Families participating in the program say they haven't been given much information about how it will work.
So we took your questions to school leaders and asked when kids will have a game plan and who will be teaching them.
For sure, they're going to hear from us at a district level about those expectations, like this is what the academy is. The majority, in fact, I would say over 90% for sure, are teachers that have been teaching in the district.
Now, elementary school teachers will be meeting one-on-one with students. Middle schoolers will have a virtual open house. Fargo Public Schools says the deadline for the virtual academy is September 2nd.
The South Dakota hotbed for dinosaur bones has given up another one, a 7-foot-long Triceratops skull. A geology professor and student from Westminster College in Missouri were excavating fossil remains last year at the Grand River National Grassland in northwestern South Dakota when they were alerted that a rancher had discovered something unusual poking out of the earth. The group found the tip of the Triceratops horn, leading them to believe it could be a significant excavation.
The professor returned with students and alumni this summer, and they unearthed a skull that weighs 3,000 pounds. Take a look. Now, the Badlands of South Dakota have been popular with geologists since the 1990 discovery of one of the largest and best preserved T-Rex specimens ever found. It was nicknamed Sue, now on display at a museum of natural history in Chicago.
Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. If you're going to do this at work, the most likely time is Wednesday at 3:45 p.m.
The answer is shop online. Getting ready to go home, want to get some new fun things.
I like that.
All right, well, thanks for playing along. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley Today, it rolls on. We'll have more live up-to-the-minute news and weather coming up for you right now on the Fargo CW.